Hello,
Hey
welcome
guys.
back. So we have a story time this time.
Yep.
So quickly, I guess, just wanted just to put something together to share how an honest mistake can have crazy ripple effects. So I guess just to build up a little bit of background, back in so today it's Friday, February 5th.
Yep.
And back in the fall, middle of October, our youngest son tested positive for COVID. He quarantined. He was at school, so we weren't exposed, so we were spared from that, and we were fine. So that's where that one goes.
Our oldest son deals a lot with the public. He, goes to work, comes home, and one day he wasn't feeling too well. So he decided, you know what, I'm gonna go get tested. January 5th, he went to go get tested. And he calls us or texts us and says, I tested positive. So we're like, great. So I tell my employer, I said, you know what? I need to go get tested just in case. So we both leave. We go get tested and we're negative. Awesome.
I did the rapid test the same day.
Yep.
And then they did the regular one and they both came out negative for me.
Right. So we're both negative. And with our oldest son being positive, we isolated him in his room. He lived on one side of the house. We lived on the other side of the house, and we took our precautions. He had his own dishes, his own food and all that stuff. So, we were keeping our distance, and if we made something, then we'll knock on his door and walk away and say, food's ready. Yeah. All the stuff that we shouldn't be doing, texting your kid, hey, food's ready, come eat. No, just that's what we had to do. So now, me being a teacher, I always have to go back and make sure that I'm negative. I come out negative for the COVID. So we decided, we're going to go ahead and all three of us, our oldest has already been in quarantine for so long, and the symptoms are gone. So we all three go get tested again.
But our youngest birthday was coming up. So we went and made a trip out of it, visited for, 2.5, maybe 3 hours.
Yep.
They're also having an issue at school with it just kind of getting rampant and going everywhere. And they just, are saying everybody needs to take precautions. So we wore our masks the whole time, even, where we were with them. But we did eat. So we sat at a park and we took our masks to eat.
Took our mask off to eat.
Masks off to eat. Yeah, that's right. So then back to where he was at. Then we all went to go get tested on the 2nd of February.
The 2nd of February, yep.
That's
So
Tuesday.
we all got tested at the same spot, but with 3 different people, obviously. The same person doesn't give everybody the same test. So, we drive off. We're thinking everything's okay. Yeah, we still took our precautions. We always had our mask. We always, even with our son that was in the back seat, he was way in the back and, taking the precautions. And so we go home, and the next day, Wednesday this week, 2 days ago, I get a call from the health department. Mario, yes. Well, you're positive. I'm like, great. Okay. I go, what about my wife? Oh yeah, she's positive too. So I'm like, okay. So, they go through all this, the recommendations of what you should do, what you can't do, or shouldn't do, not can't do. So he said, okay, well, and I said, well, what about my son? He goes, and I told him, I go, well, he's the one that was positive. They're like, well, he's still positive. And he goes, well, that's the bad news, is that everybody's positive. I go, but he said the good news is that everybody can mingle now, since we've been isolating him in his room and we've been isolating in our room. So I said, okay. I go, if we all got it, we all got it. I have to inform my employer and say, I have COVID. And now I'm in quarantine for the next 10 days until I have no more symptoms, which I don't have symptoms. And then we inform our youngest, the one we went to go visit, that we came out positive. And take it, they're in the dorm school.
Mm-hmm.
And we visited him and his girlfriend.
Yes.
So now they both have to tell their school that they've been exposed. So they are...
So then they informed them, we don't have any symptoms. Mm-hmm. We were positive. I mean, we took all the precautions at home, but it was just one of those. I guess it was just going to happen, the same household. There's nothing you can do at this point. Right. So they let them know, they get isolated. They have to move from their assigned dorm room into a different area.
To a quarantine area.
To a quarantine area. And then she did it first. My son was just kind of figuring, his case is a little bit unique, because every time he tests now, he's always positive because he already had it. Because it's fairly new, we're all learning about this. Mm-hmm. There's some places that they said that the window is anywhere from 3 to 6 months. There's his school, it's using the window gap of 3 months. Mm-hmm. So he kind of explained that his case a little unique, and how could you really tell if he's back, testing positive or not. Anyway, so I guess the nurse had to do some research. It took him a little bit for him to get moved. But this time he said, the last time I wasn't prepared. I didn't bring everything I needed. Mm-hmm. So this time he actually brought everything he needed and more, just in case.
Yep.
But he was not happy about the inconvenience. He's like, I have so much homework to do. I have presentations. I have work. He was just thinking of everything that had to be now put on hold because of that. And we apologized profusely. We're like, I'm so sorry. We really thought we were taking all the precautions.
Yep. So that's Wednesday. Thursday, we're like, okay, well, we got the phone call. We're positive. What can we do? We'll be isolated in our home. At least all three of us can mingle now.
Fast forward to today.
You know what? We're gonna go out for a little drive. We need some fresh air anyway. It's you need sunlight. Well, the sun finally came out today. So I said, you know what? We're in the car. I see the papers that we have to get our results.
Because that day that they called, we grabbed them. We're like, we'll check on later on. Yeah. But we never did. He got the phone call.
And we took that guy's word for it. So I said, you know what? We got him here. I need to give my employer a copy saying that I'm positive. So I look it up and I'm like, okay, well, let's go verify the date that they took the sample, our names and all that good stuff. So first I do my wife's, and I'm like, you're negative. Like, wait a minute. So I said, okay, wait a minute. So I did a screenshot, everything's screenshot so easily. So I do mine. I put in my name. I put in the information, the little code that they give you. And I'm like, waiting for it to pop up. I'm like, come on. And I'm negative. And I'm like, wait a minute, someone's lying. So I said, okay, well.
At that moment, I think we realized we all three got tested.
So obviously when they take your test, you have to verify that your name and your birth date is on that little vial that they have. And everything went well there. But so when I get that call from the health department, I'm like, wait a minute. So in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm gonna give this guy a call. What in the world? So I call him. I'm like, you must got some kind of what is when they both touch? Contagious? Not a contagious. What is it? Cross contamination. There you go. From my sons and mine, because I'm like, I don't have this stuff. You crazy? Anyway, so I call the guy. I'm gonna say, hey, Mr. Blah blah blah, Mr. Health Department guy. Like, my name is with the initial of, but my test results say negative. And I know my son was positive. And according to the CDC and all that stuff, you're going to be due to 6 months of positive. results every time you take it. So I'm like, are you sure it's my name and not my son's name? I go, because...
You left him a voicemail. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I left him a voicemail. I was like, please call me back. I need to know. So as we're driving around, staying quarantined in our vehicle, he calls back and he says, yes, you are negative.
And your wife is negative.
And your wife is negative too. But your son is still positive. But he will be, for whatever, so many months after that. So I'm like, great.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
So then we had to make a little video as well to notify my son and his girlfriend that we're already
in quarantine.
At school. They're like, oh my gosh. He's
Yeah.
like, this was just crazy. But we go to the ripple effects. It started from an innocent mistake. He probably, there were 3 pieces of paper. He had them all, same last name, 2 with the same first name. And I mean, we understand it. But the scare of everything, him having to completely isolate from,
Like, yep.
At first he was okay working alone, as long as, we were negative, but we'll still take precautions. But the moment it was positive, we're like, okay, no, we don't even want you close to...
You can't be anything. Because what I do is, I'm head of the agricultural program at the school. So if I touch any kind of food...
Yeah, it could be contamination.
It could be contaminated. So they said, we don't want you at all. And the greenhouses. Like,
yeah.
Great.
So he's being bored out of his mind.
Mm-hmm.
And then now I couldn't stop chuckling. It's just how crazy, and all the people that were affected by, not all the people because we did our part.
Just the ripple
But
effect.
the 2 people. And then it's just the ripple effects can go crazy and inconvenient. And we just have to, I guess, accept it. But we thought it was funny.
So just be safe out there. Make sure you're drinking water. Get some exercise, get some fresh air, stay away from everybody that you think is sick. Just be safe. We'll talk to you guys later.